Howdy everyone and welcome in. So when I talk about estate sale fresh, this is what I'm talking about. Estate sale fresh. Most are 14 karat gold and they're all rings. So this is an unboxing from an estate sale. And what I'm very excited about is there's about 3 or 4 that has me like crazy based on design and stones. I want to welcome everyone in. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for hitting subscribe. Thank you for trusting me. And thank you for all of your kindness in all of the comments that you continually leave me. In this video, if you want to make a comment on your favorite ring, please do so. Some may eventually be for sale. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to liquidate these or how this is going to go. So we'll start on this side. This is 14 karat gold. And these are, in fact, beautiful, beautiful garnets. And they are absolutely very closely color matched. This is in 14 karat gold. What I liked about this is the 3-row construction and then also how heavy this gold mounting was. When you look at gold rings, look at the way that they are constructed. Always look at the millimeter gauge of the back of the band. Sometimes they get incredibly thin, both in this direction and also in thickness. So just watch that and make sure that they're very robust because gold does wear. That one's slightly darker than the rest, but that shows that those are natural garnets, perfect for the January birthday baby. Absolutely exquisite and wearability very comfortable on the finger. Note to everyone here, when these kind of bridge style mountings get lower on the sides, they sometimes will catch the finger. See where that starts to inlay in the finger there? That can sometimes be rough. This one does not do it because it's contoured to the finger. So it's very soft and very wearable. So just make sure that if you buy one of these, we all have one in our collection that rubs our next finger over. Very uncomfortable, and I don't recommend that style. But when they stop up that way and that far, then they're very comfortable to wear. Hopefully that makes sense. If you do hear my other cell phone in the background, I am getting some text messages because I do have some things to get done today is all I can say. And I welcome you all in again for this grand unboxing of Estate Sale Fresh 14 karat gold and gemstone rings. I think there's a total of 15. At least that's what I remember. These are beautiful diamonds. The approximate carat weight of that would probably be around 3/4 of a carat in total weight. That's as close as I'm going to get without measuring. Solid 14 karat gold, and I did like that kind of squared off and angular design that highlights these stones. See how the light reflects off of those almost facets across the surface? That furthers the push and pull of light and draws attention to those stones and those mountings. I've always loved a very strong and stable channel set mounting. When you look at these channel set stones, make sure they are bezel set from behind. See those little collars that are soldered down in? Those independently hold those stones from underneath, so the tension setting holds them in place, but those hold them very central. So just make sure that any tension setting has that behind. Sometimes they'll be sneaky and super glue diamonds into their mountings. Yes, I have seen it before. Yes, it does happen. That is quite an exceptional ring. There's something very simple and bold about that. Love that construction on that. Retail on something like that, you know, those are now $1,500, $1,800. I didn't pay anything near that on the secondary market. This one looks like rounds, and I think they may have burnished. They did. They burnished the metal on the inside to fill that in between. It almost looked like elongated or tapered baguettes in between those really large, very large, fully faceted, beautiful white diamonds. Look how long that goes. So it almost looks like an eternity band when it's on. See, there's no like start and stop of that design. So it almost looks like an eternity band all the way around the finger. Very beautiful stones, solid 14 karat. Again, look this over and flip it to the profile and see that how thick the band is. High quality, very high quality. You get what you pay for when it comes to these. Estate sale wise, I would say most of these rings were between the late 1950s and around the late 1980s into like the 1990s. So very much more contemporary than what I'm used to buying. But when I get a phone call that is halfway through the day, I always answer my phone. This is gorgeous. This is timeless. These are princess cut diamonds, very beautiful. I would say on those, they're probably around 15 to 20 points a piece. So that's right around a full carat of princess cut diamonds. It does need to be cleaned up a little bit, but look at the robust nature of these prongs, that undercarriage, the double row of gold there, very solid, very heavy. Again, the profile very thick, the shank system very robust. They did not spare any expense with this. Also, see how large the prongs are, but they're tapered down at the top so they do not overpower those beautiful princess cut stones. You never want the metal to get in the way of the stones. It looks clumsy, it looks poor craft, it just doesn't read right. There is no space in between those princess cut diamonds. That is a sure sign of quality. Again, look from underneath. See those little bridges that are soldered down in there? That's to keep those stones from shifting or falling out. That is a heck of a beautiful, almost, whether it be engagement or be anniversary band, very universal, everyday wear on that one. Let's go for a colored stone. Let's take a look at this. This is chrome diopside. Chrome diopside is one of my favorite newer gems, I would say. It's by no means brand new, but chrome diopside has this lush green color that's almost like a marriage between a flawless emerald and a green tourmaline. That's kind of the color that this takes on. True grass green. You cannot look at this stone and confuse it for anything else. Sometimes you might think tourmaline, sometimes you might. Sometimes, you might say, could that possibly be a green garnet? In this shade of green, it's always chrome diopside. Diamond halo, 14 karat gold, beautiful diamonds up the shoulders, and I did love that pierce work gallery. Very finely done, very great craft, and see the undercarriage, how that has a design and an element to be pierced out. Very beautiful presentation on the hand. I've always loved this direction of a central stone accented with two side stones. I've always thought that was a very Victorian-esque style of a ring. Very updated as well. Very much so a nod to antique, but still wearable in contemporary times. This one, I wasn't a fan of the quality of the diamonds, but labradorite in gold, infrequently found. So this is solid gold, and it is a beautiful blue labradorite that really has a great lush blue across the surface. Reads in both directions. Very strong blue, goes into that kind of mottled gray-green on the outside. But the diamonds are lower quality, and they're just kind of haphazardly placed, and a lot of that is illusion setting, meaning there are no diamonds there. That's just white gold that has been chased and reposéd as an illusion setting. It wasn't about the mounting in this, it was all about that labradorite stone. You normally do not see labradorite mounted in gold. So that's why I thought the size of this, the wearability, and very soft on the finger. Very good contour. Look how that basket mounting, the undercarriage, protects that stone, also raises it slightly off the finger, but look at the bend of that convex surface to complete that as a very wearable and very comfortable ring. Absolutely great stone. Loved that one as well. Very desirable today. This is a smoky quartz. Back in the day, old-time dealers called these smoky topaz, and we could still get away with it today. But this is smoky quartz. It's a very large one, and I liked the proportions of that elliptical oval. Sometimes when you see these, they get a little wider, they get a little clumsy. The cut of this stone was not the best. It wasn't like gem grade, off the charts, fantastic. It windows a little bit when you tip it. That's to be expected with a stone that elliptical and cut in that proportion. So it's not an ideal cut stone, but look at that dramatic gold mounting. What this didn't have for stone, it had for mounting. You know, the directional nature of that, raising it off the finger, and the little accents. I don't think they may be diamonds. Let me take a quick look. They might be diamonds, and if they're not, they're probably colorless sapphire. They used a lot of colorless sapphire when they did these mountings back in the day. Love that open work, and I love that that basket mounting raised it up off the finger to make it much more dramatic. That is a cocktail style ring. That is definitely a vintage cocktail ring that, again, wearability is great, desirability is great. We are 10 minutes in, and I just want to say thank you again for all the love on my shows and tells, and hopefully this unboxing makes you incredibly happy. This is a gem grade lemon citrine. Look how magnificent. Color zoning through the stone. Part of the stone is darker, part of the stone is lighter. We want to see that, not too dramatic, but we like to see that. Look at the rays of the zoning going through the stone, and people have said, slow down and show us color zoning. Do you see those little rays running through? Look at those lines running through. Those are the color zones in natural citrine. Those are the color zones running through that stone. You don't see it when it's north-south. You see it when it's east-west. You see that because you can look across the stone on the inside. Look for color zoning. It usually means it's a natural stone, unless you're getting into synthetic corundum, synthetic ruby, synthetic sapphire, or sometimes lab or flux inclusion grown emerald. So sometimes synthetic stones will have zoning through the color. So that's not a telltale sign of a natural stone every single time. Let's be clear on that. What I loved about this was this vintage, dramatic, completely hand-constructed. Ooh, look at the color zones now. Do you see those color zones running through underneath? I know you can see that little twinkle there. See those zones of color? That's a natural citrine. That's what we want to see. At least I do as a person that loves gemstones. Getting back to this, robust 14 karat yellow gold mounting. Love that this is constructed all out of wire. The whole ring is fabricated out of wire. This is not cast. Each piece is lovingly soldered together by hand, like I do as a silversmith. These 3 bands are soldered together to create the shank. That is soldered on the shoulder to connect the shank to that oval, to give that a finished edge. This designer, this goldsmith, knew exactly what he or she was going for when he constructed this, or she constructed this, to finish that edge in this beautiful oval, again, finished so that it hugs the finger. Look how it keeps it above the finger, but hugs the profile of the finger for one of the most wearable and comfortable, sizable cocktail rings. Again, I think this is maybe late 40s into the 1950s, definitely pre-1970 on this construction and the wear pattern on the metal and the faceting of that elliptical stone. I could look at that all day. Brings me such happiness to see a citrine that large. For colored stones, we have this one. This is a green tourmaline in the center and blue topaz on the outside. Again, completely custom made, completely hand constructed. White gold heads on the outside, yellow gold head on the inside. This was made to be a pave set diamond ring. An artisan used that cast 14 karat gold shank system where the pave stones would have been set in, and they set this tourmaline on the top and then the 2 blue topaz on either side. What I loved about this was the color play of 2 cool colors, dark green and sky blue, and then that golden yellow sunshine. So you have cool colors mixed with the warm color of the metal, giving this a dramatic, unusual color play of the cool colored stones with the warm colored metal. I look at things like that as an artist and a designer. This is magnificent because it's unusual. It's not customary to see it that way. We'll take a look at this one, which is gem grade blue zircon. Beautifully done in a 1940s mounting in solid 14 karat or 10 karat gold. I love that blue zircon. Probably around a full carat. And I would say color-wise, that's as almost as good as blue zircon will get. That Caribbean blue, that deep aqua, a deep turquoise color for blue zircon. Really magnificently mounted because look at the prongs and how well that ring was cared for. Always check your prongs once a year to make sure that your stones will not fall out because gold does wear down, your prongs will wear, and then you will need to get them re-tipped and resoldered so that you don't lose an important stone. That ring, retail on blue zircon now, that ring's at least $500 or $600. This one is absolutely stunning. This is glass enamel in this cherry lipstick red, and then the optical pop and optical push of that pave white gold diamond set heart. Love the three colors: white stones, cherry red, and then that golden hue of solid 14 karat gold. That designer spared no expense on this. Really beautifully modeled, and what I loved about it is the enamel was in perfect condition. Glass enamel on a ring like this, just wear it with great caution and great care because if you chip this, it's basically worthless. When you chip the enamel, it's very difficult to fix glassy enamel. I know from experience because I've done it. It's never the same. Never the same. Love that kind of stippled surface to give that additional texture and pushing the light back out at people. That just is such the love token ring. Really wearable, everyday wear, love it. So that one was exceptional. We only have 4 left. Look at us go. 17 minutes in, I kept my foot on the gas. I didn't screw around in this video, but I do want to thank you for staying with me. These are natural blue sapphire. These are calibre cut and then channel set almost on top of each other. Does need a really good cleaning. This person wore and enjoyed their items. Look on the inside. See the undercarriage of that pierced out almost lattice work? Make sure your invisibly set stones have that internal carriage underneath that carries and holds the stones secure. I also love the profile. Look how this dips down in and undulates across the surface. Channel set sapphires are very difficult to do. Dipping it down and creating a profile is even another skill set layer to a ring like this. Most people wouldn't notice it. Most people wouldn't make a comment on it, but as an artist and a silversmith, when I see something that is technically a challenge, I respond. Imagine taking graphic cut square stones and making them fold like fabric. That looks like that's constructed out of silk. It's constructed out of stone and gold, rigid materials, and yet it folds. It undulates. Love the color of the stones. Again, that classic everyday wear. So when you invest in something like this for, let's say, $800, $1,000, whatever it may be, because the price of gold is so high, and the craft to put this together, all I can say is this. It's about wearability and enjoyment and an investment. Gold is a magnificent store of wealth. I've said it over and over and over in my videos. I'm partial to sterling silver and platinum, but I do have my fair share of gold that I keep in safety deposit so that I have an investment towards the future. Notice the thickness of the shank. I always start there. Then when we flip this around, we look at these diamonds and say, those are internally flawless. Probably G, H, or I in color. They almost are so good they look like cubic zirconia because they're so clean and so clear. Carat weight on this one approximately, as I take a look, it's well over a carat. It's probably a carat and a half, maybe a carat and a quarter to a carat and a half. Very large emerald cut diamonds, very large stones, large tables, well proportioned, don't window, and push the light right back out to the wearer. Notice how thick the metal is. No expense was spared in this as well. So these were very robust versions and very well constructed. There is a channel inset in there to hold every single one of those stones. Let me look and see if these are tension set. They most certainly are. So every stone is tension set on top of the next one inside of that robust channel. Those are going to go nowhere. Look at how those are set inside of that channel. There's always a little imperfection because each stone is individually hand cut. When you see that they're perfect, usually they're CZs because they're cast in place. These were lovingly hand set. So look at the profile and see that little variance there of the stones and how they're set. That's a telltale sign of diamonds rather than CZ, but always have your stones checked. We're down to 2 more. These could be my 2 favorite. I always hold out until the end. You know how I do the grand reveal. This one's late 70s into the 80s, completely artisan constructed. Absolutely beautiful, needs to be cleaned up. Lapis inset in 14 karat gold. What I loved about this is the lapis is one piece. And it is carved, and then these holes are drilled in the gold, and that wire is strapped through the areas of that electric blue lapis that is not color treated. That's natural lapis. Look how these bands of gold then tension set that lapis dome, almost a Bombay style ring. I'll tell you this much. Made in the style of David Webb. If this was a David Webb original, it'd be much larger, it'd be more robust, and it would also be $30,000. This version, although not Webb, this version still goes for several thousand. I would say the last time I saw one of these in one of the high-end shows, I think it was like $2,200 or $2,400. This style, almost that Van Cleef and Arpels, David Webb, any of the top designers, Cartier, Tiffany, like Jean Chamblagère. You know, that's what it looks like. Very well crafted 14 karat gold. I still think, you know, $2,200 to $2,500 and going up, because they're not doing this style anymore. It's labor intensive. It's very expensive. Just in raw goods, it would be expensive to create today. And this is the final one. This was my favorite. I do need to test these stones. And immediately I would say, oh, those are emeralds. You know, I'm not so sure. Are they demantoid garnet? Are they emerald? That's a toss-up. That is a toss-up on this ring. I immediately said to myself, well, those are emeralds. Those to me are emeralds. All day long, they're emeralds. You know, the more I look at this, the more I think they are, I think that they are, I'm almost 99% sure they're demantoid. Some people say demantoid. I say demantoid. But either pronunciation is fine. But demantoid or, demantoid garnets, I think they are because the color variation, that mint green says garnet, these darker greens definitely lean, the way the RI is on it, the refractive index, the way it throws light back at the viewer. I loved this concave, massive, heavy, robust, modernist 14 karat gold, white gold shank system. There is something magnificent about this ring. And when you look at it next to a true, Art Deco and platinum diamond, look how that holds up in style. Look how that holds up in, pay attention to me, and when you look at these side by side, I will have this in another video, but this is platinum and diamond. Bought this at the Don Scott Antique Show, and I absolutely love this. This will be in my best of the Don Scott show from January. Love that. But look at the two of them side by side. How that tells a story of true antique and then inspired by and contemporary. The way that metal looks like it's folded like a love letter and then banded together with that punch of color in the center. I love the white and the whiteness of the metal and the green of the stones. So I'll leave you there for the day, 24 minutes in, and I just want to say Thank you again so much for joining in. I'll bring all these back. I'm going to have to line them all up and get a screenshot. But I do have to thank you so much for trusting me, for coming to the shows and tells and my unboxings. I have so many more videos to go. Look at me load up this box for a thumbnail. Thank you again for joining in. And I will say it because it's absolutely true. I love you because I do, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Goodbye.